Hello everybody, Tom from Confidant Community. Thank you very much for joining me to watching this episode. And the topic of this episode we are having this week is called Is double pay a good strategy for rental investment? Let's start it. So first thing I'd like to share with you is double pay. What is double pay? Simply put, when you have a mortgage, you pay down your principal much faster. So sometimes bank allows you to pay up to 2 times. Sometimes they have so-called 20% of lump sum payment at the end of each calendar year, so on. Either way, those are all the vehicles bank provide for you so that you can pay down your mortgage much faster. And the benefit of doing that is quite obviously because each time you pay down the principal, your overall borrowed amount of money is dropped. Therefore, the interest charged on that portion of principal that you borrowed also going to drop down. So the more you pay down, and the quicker or the more you save on your interest, which undoubtedly is a great strategy for your personal home residential property if you are staying in Canada. In US, a lot of people know your interest actually is tax deductible, so the benefit is a little bit less than what we have here. So in Canada, if you are having a mortgage borrowed from a bank, and this mortgage is on your personal property, primary property, residential property, the advice we would like to recommend, if you do have extra funding available every month, absolutely pay down your principal, no question asked. So that is kind of straightforward. Now, what getting interesting is when you have rental investment. Let's say you have a residential house you bought and you use it as rental. Now it's qualified as so-called investment property. The question is, the double pay will be still the same or it start to change? Answer is very different from the residential house. From our perspective, in Confidant Community, we share with our members with the following 2 ideas. Number one, we look into the impact of the double pay. Let's say if you do double pay, what's going to happen on your interest, and what is going to happen on the effectiveness of your cash used in this particular investment property. So when you are doing the investment in the residential property, what you found out actually is the double paid amount dropped down your total principal amount you borrowed, which is no difference from what you have if you paid on the residential property. What is different though is, as we all know, the interest you are getting in the residential investment property actually is tax deductible. It is regarded as expense. Now, if you pay down the principal much faster than your normal speed, then what's going to happen is you start to dilute the benefit of this tax advantage that is exclusively to the residential investment. And the second, when you drop down the interest income, when you're doing the double pay, the interest start to drop, and what's going to happen next is your investment, so-called net income, is going to increase. When that net income increase, what happened next is going to be tax is going to be increased as well. So the government will step in, start to take what you thought you are going to save out in the format of tax. And this is going to be I call it a double dip, because the money you use to pay down the investment principal on your investment property mortgage is after tax. And now the money you made out of this by saving a few bucks on the interest is being taxed again. So that is kind of disadvantage if you start to do the double pay on your rental property. And secondly, which is even more important, is the impact on your ROI, rate of return. So that is what is going to really shows big difference in terms of if you use double pay on your rental property, your ROI is going to be compromised in a big way. Let me explain. I think the best way I will explain to you is an example. Let's say you have 100 grand cash, and there is a property which is beautiful rental property, and you evaluate it and you say, okay, I'm going to buy this one. However, let's go a bit extreme. Say instead of borrowing any money, you borrow zero. You use this 100 grand, bought this 100 grand house with no any single money borrowed from the bank. 25 years pass forward. Let's just make the math simple. Say this property now became 200 grand. How much you make over these years? You made 100 grand more. So this increase divided by what you paid 100 grand and your rate of return over this 25 years is going to be 100%. Fair enough. Now let's say the investor B, who did a little bit differently. Instead of buying one house, he bought 5, the same house or the similar houses as his rental property, and he split his 100 grand into 220 grand each, and then he financed another 80% from the bank. He borrowed 80 grand for each house, so he bought these 5 houses. Again, 25 years later, he did his thing, rented property to the happy tenants, and also have positive cash flow, keep this property well maintained, and also hold it long enough to 25 years, and now the property increased to 200 grand. What is getting interesting is now if you think each property you have 200 clear and free in your hand, and you paid 20 grand on this one property, so each property your profit is 180, and times by 5 you got 900 grand. Divided by 100 grand you paid, what is the rate of return over this 25 years? It is 900 grand. So now you see the huge difference in between utilize the leverage properly. I'm not talking about over leverage. I'm talking about within your comfortable zone. Utilize the leverage properly without doing any double pay. What is going to happen to your rate of return? So with those extreme, one is there's no single money from bank. You use all your money. You double paid 100%. One is you use 20%. You can see the huge differences. So that's why if this is investment property, we highly recommend it. Do not doing the double pay as long as your cash flow is positive. So that is the trick part. And also, this is the reason why, as we explained, I want to just have a quick sum up, is number one, it diluted your benefit of interest tax deductible. And secondly, you allow government the second chance to tax you again, which is going to slow down the speed of your financial freedom. And the second huge part is the impact on the rate of return, which you probably need to think about it very seriously. So overall, our conclusion is very simple. If this is your primary house, double pay absolutely the way to go. If it is the rental property, as long as you have positive cash flow, double pay is not recommended. Thank you very much. And if you like our episodes, please feel free subscribe, and I will see you next time.